control. Senua, estás, vamos, hecho una mierda. No parece que haya nada por aquí, nada de interés. Vamos.
There it is. You're imagining this. It's dead. He's coming. It's too slow. How could you? Keep going. How could you? Keep going. Ignore the pain. I told you it wasn't. He tricked you. I told you. Where are you going? See, there's nothing to follow. Come on.
Before she first met him, she was not in a good place. Just a teenager, but not like the others. Barely functioning, she rarely left the house. Her father's in-bell made sure of that. Only occasionally did she venture out on her own, collecting firewood and herbs. Errands out in the Orkney Plains. That was her world. Like this one. Barren and lonely.
Vale. Un montón de nada. Por ahí. Pero por aquí hay algo. Anda.
Senua, there will be times that you will feel alone and exhausted. Like a strange little fish swimming against the tides of the big ocean. But have the faith to let go and let the tide carry you away. Because the whole ocean is your home, and it does not ask you to swim against it.
Vale, consejos de la madre para manejar sus problemas.
It's already disappeared. Nothing lives here, not even you. It's in your mind. You think you can see it, but it's in your mind.
There he was. The lone figure of a boy. Sword play under the shade of a tree. She remembers the first time she saw him. To her young eyes, he moved as if dancing. And the world danced with him. The gloom lifted. And for the first time in years, she felt ray of hope.
You can see him. There he is. Come on, you have to keep Dillian waiting.
Muy bien trabajado está.
The Northmen tell of a great hero. His name is Sigmund. His father's hall was built around a great tree, and one day Odin comes and thrusts a sword into the tree, a gift to whomever can release it. Many try, but the sword only comes out at Sigmund's touch. His brother-in-law, King Siggeir, wants it, but Sigmund refuses him, so King Siggeir plots revenge. He invites Sigmund and his brothers to a feast, but when they arrive, they are met with an army, not a warm welcome. King Siggeir captures Sigmund and his brothers, steals his coveted sword, and readies them for execution.
Joder. Todas las mitologías son en ese plan. Cómo se nota que hacer fluidos es muy jodido. Porque esto no está bien hecho. Que hacer fluidos es muy jodido. Oh, allí hay otro.
Death for Sigmund and his brothers seems certain. But the king's wife is Sigmund's sister, and she begs for mercy and implores the king to chain them up instead. He agrees. Not for mercy, though, but because he plans an even more cruel and lingering death. Chained to a tree in the forest that night, a she-wolf comes and devours one of Sigmund's brothers. She returns, ravenous, night after night, until only Sigmund is left. The next day, Sigmund's sister sends a servant with honey to smear on Sigmund's face. But to what end? Well, that night, when the she-wolf appears again, you'll never guess what happens.
A ver, parece que el camino es por aquí, pero creo que me estoy dejando cosas atrás. Nos estamos dejando cositas atrás, probablemente si tiramos por aquí. Un montón de nada por aquí.
As the she-wolf licks the sweet honey from Sigmund's face, he bites the wolf's tongue. The she-wolf pulls away, but Sigmund holds on. The chains break, and he is free. After his escape, Sigmund lives like us, hidden in the forest. His enemy, King Siggeir, believing him dead, as his sister plots revenge. And for vengeance to succeed, even the great Sigmund needs help. So she sends her sons to him. But their blood is weak and corrupted, and they're put to death by Sigmund. So his sister hatches a new plan, one that is cold of heart and pure of blood.
Subía eso. Vamos a ver. Esa puerta no podemos ir, así que ahora que... Ah, vale, la escalera era para... Vale, bueno, no es un mal atajo, está bien. Vamos en busca de la supuesta figura de su amado, que no será su amado. De la imaginación suya, seguramente, y muchas otras cosas.
Day after day, watching from afar, she mimicked him, perfecting her own secret dance. Wishing those fleeting moments of light would stretch out to last forever.
Sigmund's sister trades shapes with a sorceress, and in disguise, she lies with her own brother. She gives birth to a son named Sinfjotli. After a time, she sends him to the forest to Sigmund. He tests the boy and finds him strong and fearless.
Pero ahora
And so
vuelvo.
they go to take horse.
It's a trick. It's an illusion. It's not real. It's you want to believe it's real.
Uf. What? ¿Qué cojones? Vale.
What is she following? You can't even fight. It's just deception.
How does he so effortlessly court the world and bliss? If only she could do the same.
Así es como lo
See
recuerda
the
ella.
world through eyes anew, and dance
O así es
with
como
it,
era antes.
just like he does.
Por aquí parecía que había un camino. No. Pues es recto entonces.
What's your name?
Senua.
I haven't seen you before.
I don't leave home much.
Oh, Zeno's daughter.
I have to go.
Wait. Who taught you to fight like that?
No one.
No one?
Well, I watched you, and
You learnt all of that from watching me? You should become a warrior, you know.
me?
I'm Dillian. I'm here for the warrior trials. Come and watch. And bring your sword.
You can't put it into words. That moment when you look into the eyes of the one who's supposed to reassure you, make you feel safe. It only takes an instant. Fear swallows you before you have a chance to make sense of it.
¿Cómo ha cambiado, no?
And darkness becomes a part of who you are.
You killed him.
But her world changed the day the Northmen took him from her. Senua knows that there's no going back to how things were.
Y vuelve a cambiar.
That there's nothing to go back to at all. Stay still, stay quiet, hide, don't tell her.
Their gods can see into your mind. They will use this power to destroy you.
They won't stop me. I can still feel it.
Whatever's left of him, they will never let him go.
I'm not gonna let him rot here.
You're the one rotting here.
Leave me alone.
You will die here.
No.
And all your suffering will have been for nothing.
Shut up!
Y vuelve a no ver fuego.
Dillian? Is that you? I'll find you, my love. I promise.
Can you see him? You want to believe it. Is he not real? Is he there? You're alone in these mountains. Is that Dillian? Nothing lives here. You won't survive. You met him by the tree. She met him by the tree. Maybe it's a sign. The tree. What's he trying to tell you? He's waiting for you by the tree.
Eso servirá después para algo posiblemente, o no. Pero, uff, madre mía. Bonita decoración. Estos dos puntos tienen que servir para algo después. Vale. Hay dos. ¡Ey! Aquí hay algo.
As Sigmund and Sinfjotli are being buried alive, Sigmund's sister throws an armful of straw into the grave mound. Hidden in the straw is Sigmund's sword, the gift of Odin. They cut their way out of the grave mound and set fire to Siggeir's hall. The king burns to death. Sigmund calls to his sister to come out so that she may live and be honored. She does come out, but only to tell him the truth. That she had slept with him, her brother, to beget a strong avenger. I am not fit to live, she says, and walks back into the fire. Strike vengeance from your heart, Senua, as there is always a heavy price to pay.
Buen consejo. Esa última parte, un buen consejo. Vale. Hay que seguir dando el rodeo. Pensaba que estaba tomando el desvío y no, es el camino, de hecho. No da mucha libertad a la exploración este juego, pero desde un punto narrativo eso viene bien.
And here is the end of Sigmund's story. He was a fierce and great warrior who fought many battles. But one day, an old man came onto the battlefield. Although shadowed by a hood, Sigmund saw that he only had one eye. The man raised his spear, and Sigmund struck at it with his sword, but the sword shattered into pieces. Sigmund then knew that this was Odin, and thus that victory could not be his. He bowed his head and accepted his end. Dying, he tells his wife that she is with child, and that her son will one day make a great weapon out of the fragments of his sword. The sword named Gram.
Vale. Nos hemos enterado de toda la historia de Sigmund. Hay que ir por ahí, pero vamos a ver qué hay por aquí. ¿Y aquí ya hay luz al fondo? Hay 4 puntos de estos. Tenemos 4 puntos de estos después para lo que sea que vaya a venir después. Bueno, que vaya a venir, no, que toque después. Vale. Ajá. Entremos. Que pase lo que tenga que pasar.
Take it. A sword. Take it. Dillian left it for you. Take it. Take it. Take it.
Imagine a sword that can slay gods. Its name is Gram. It was forged by the god of all Northmen, Odin, and gifted to Sigmund, a great warrior.
I need this sword. It's important. Can you help me?
The sword appears whole, but it is an illusion. It shattered into shards long ago. It is said a great warrior can reforge Gram by answering the trials of Odin, one for each shard. The roots of the Tree of Death will take you to new lands where you will face the trials.
Go to the shards. Go to the shard.
Go to the shards.
What's the shard? Find it.
It's the metal runestones.
It's in front of you. Find it. The metal. The runes. You need that sword. Go to the shard.
Lo que yo suponía. Tenemos que ir a los puntos. Vamos a ir primero al más lejano. Y vamos a ir poco a poco hacia el árbol. Para que después el camino vaya siendo más corto, más corto, más corto.
Where is it?
Find it. There it is. Focus. There's the shard. Focus. Focus. Use your not safe. Don't believe it. Move closer. Go. Come on. What can you see? It's in your mind. You can see.
I want to tell you a story about a god of the Northmen called Balder. The second son of Odin. He was beautiful, good and wise. He was fair of feature, he spoke fair words, he gave fair judgments. Light shone from him. Only good things were told of him. Yet he was the first of the gods to die.
Oh, cómo ha cambiado el escenario. Abramos este camino.
What is it? What does it see? Get closer.
Esto va a ser otro bucle de... Vale, y hay otra muerte.
Trust us. What does it see? Where are we?
What is this?
It's the same.
Different.
It's another world.
Another world.
It's lighter.
It's nicer.
I like it here. Can we stay? Let's stay here. It's safe here. It's calm here. It's light here. It's nice.
Y el mando vibra para volver aquí. Vale, vamos a tener que ir alternando entre el mundo versión oscura y el mundo versión de la luz. Entiendo. Pero...
You've come this far, but the bridge is broken.
There's no way you can fix it.
What do you do?
Vale. Entonces, tenemos que irnos al mundo de la luz para arreglar el puente. Correcto.
The bridge.
It's not broken.
It's fixed.
What happened?
The bridge is fixed. Let's cross it.
Como suponía, no se puede. Pero no se pierde nada por probar. Vale, otra runa.
The Northmen tell this story about the death of Balder. It begins with dark dreams. Night after night, Balder dreams of his own death, and the gods fear for his life. So Balder's mother makes everything in the world: fire, water, iron, stone, earth, wood, beasts, birds, serpents, poison, sickness, swear an oath not to harm her sons. One by one, they each make their vow. Neither weapons nor wood will injure him, Balder's mother boasts. Only Loki, father of Hela, the mistress of death, is not amused.
Dillian, don't forget. You can feel it. You need the runes to fight Dillian.
You need Dillian.
Vale, tenemos que buscar esta runa.
He's waiting for you.
Es una especie de Y
He's close.
doble partida por la mitad, por definirlo de alguna forma.
He loves you. Calling you. Dillian. Dillian. Open the gate. She can't. Open the gate. It's locked. Try harder. She can't. The gate. She can't. She can't. She will.
Vale. Abrimos este camino, volvemos al mundo de la oscuridad. posiblemente, con suerte, cambie algo en el lado derecho o izquierdo que nos permita avanzar. Vale.
Go through it. It's dangerous. Follow it. What's behind the gate? Where will it take you? It's not safe.
Ahora esta puerta está abierta. Y esta también está abierta. Ahora las dos puertas están abiertas.
Look what happens to the things you love.
O sea, hay un puente en lo alto.
He led you astray. You should have listened to your father when you had the chance. Why didn't you listen to him? His love has tortured you, and it tortures me.
Que me está trabajado el sonido, de verdad. Maravilloso trabajo.
Dillian, there he is. What are you waiting for? Find a way. Find him. Go through him before he disappears. Dillian, don't lose him. Dark. Way too many times. You always let him disappear. Dillian, there he is. Quick.
Vale. ¿Qué? ¿Por aquí? No me está dejando pasar debajo del árbol. Vale, lo estranguló. Ya sabemos cómo lo mató.
Where is he? Where's he gone?
Bueno,
We're in the wrong world. He's not here. She's in the wrong world. He's not in this world. He's in
sí,
the
lo
other
que
one.
dice,
He's in the other one. He's
sí,
in
lo que ha
the
dicho
dark
esa voz
one.
es cierto.
The dark one.
The world once seemed so simple. Black and white. Darkness and light. Narrow dividing lines of our own making. Dillian taught her to see further. To peek through the cracks and see the worlds of colour stretching away from the gloom. And Senna explored new paths into the unknown.
You can't go up there. You can't go up there. Not in this world. No, not in this world.
Correcto,
You
no en
can't.
este. El otro quizás, sí. Pero si vuelvo al otro...
Dillian saved you. Dillian cared for her like no one else has.
Vale, creo que sé lo que vamos a tener que hacer. Vamos a tener que abrir aquí. No se puede.
We saw that she was strong.
Aquí hay algo.
The gods feast and rejoice and amuse themselves by throwing spears and stones at Balder, striking at him with sword and axe. But he comes to no harm, whatever they do. The gods never cease to wonder at this great marvel. But Loki shapes himself into a woman and asks Balder's mother, "Is it really true that all things promise to keep him safe?" "I did not ask the mistletoe," Balder's mother confesses. "I thought it was too young." Oh dear.
Evidentemente. Lo que quiere vale, ya voy entendiendo. Ya voy entendiendo. Ahora está también. Bien.
Dillian saved her. You owe your life to Dillian. You owe everything to him. Do you remember what it was to touch him?
Volvamos. Aunque en teoría aquí hay algo, pero ahora mismo no.
What does it feel like to be in love?
Claro, esta tampoco la puedo abrir aquí.
He was kind to her.
Vale, por aquí no se puede, evidentemente.
You have blood on your hands. You are guilty. Was it worth it?
Ah, ya. No se puede. Es dentro. Es que es dentro, pero... Averigua tú ahora cómo entrar ahí.
Why didn't she listen to me?
Vamos a ver cómo entramos.
You had that loved her. You squashed it, strangled it, flattened it. The curse cannot be undone.
Está por aquí. Está por aquí.
He was the only one she could trust. Could she trust him? Do you think she remembers him?
Aquí ya no se ven. Aquí sí se ven los efectos. Es aquí dentro. Tengo que encontrar la forma de abrir la puerta, pero...
He was the only one that didn't mind the curse.
¡Oh! Ya lo he visto.
Senua, you've got it. Why isn't he here? He's gone. He was the dark world. He's gone to the dark world. You're in the wrong world. He's in the other world. The dark world. Without you.
Ya voy. Con las voces metiendo bulla.
Dillian doesn't know who killed him.
Ya estamos aquí. De vuelta. Vale. puzzles.
It's all your fault. It's all your fault. You're cursed. There he is. Where are you taking me?
He's up there.
How do you get up there?
There's a way. Everything gets broken in the end. There is a way up there.
Your love because he believed in you.
You're nearly there. Just find the way.
Loki makes a dart out of mistletoe and goes to the gods as they throw things at Balder. The blind god, Hugh, was there. Loki asks him why he wasn't taking part. Hugh says, I cannot see where Balder stands, and even if I could see him, I have no weapon. Loki replies, here is a wand. I will tell you where he stands. And Hugh throws the mistletoe at Balder. It pierces through him, and to everyone's horror, Balder is killed. And for this, Hugh is slain.
Kill the things that are most precious to you.
Dylan didn't deserve this. The curse can
Ah, vale.
Was it worth it? Your curse has claimed Dillion.
Poor Dillion. He didn't know. He was kind.
The Northmen tell how the gods mourned Balder. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea, and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Balder's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes and the rollers burst into flames. When Balder's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit, sending the dead to hell. But even so, the gods cannot accept his death.
Nobody will love her now.
Can you remember what love feels like?
Look what happens to the things she loves. She destroys.
Years have
passed since she left her father.
M con especie de
She trained
infinito
hard
y
alongside her friend.
eso sería una especie de J.
She saw things no one else could.
Vale.
Patterns, shapes, movement. An intuition that made her
Hasta
an
que no
exceptional
aparezcan
warrior.
los símbolos, nada.
Friendship turned to love.
Vamos.
But the shadow of darkness never let her go, and she was caught between two worlds. That of Zinbel and her past, and Dillion, her future. Two realities tearing at her soul.
You killed him.
You couldn't see the darkness within you.
Por aquí hay algo.
You kill the things that are most precious to you.
Dillion didn't deserve this.
Esta seguramente no la podré abrir. Efectivamente, porque la tendré que abrir desde el mundo de la luz. Está el mundo de la luz, la tendremos que abrir.
She knew best.
She thought she had light within her when she was older.
She is pure darkness.
Vale, pues vamos a cambiar. Ah, esto no lo había visto.
You have blood on your hands. You are guilty. Was it worth it? Do you remember what love feels like?
Vale, por aquí hay un símbolo que ya lo he visto. Está allí. ¿Qué es este de aquí? No, pero está al revés. Ojo. Que es que está al revés. Ah, porque será desde el otro lado.
Do you remember the way he looked?
Claro, será desde el otro lado. Otro fragmento de historia nórdica.
Overcome with grief, the gods send Hermod to ride to Hell and ask Hela to let Balder return home. All the gods are weeping, he says. Are they? Asks Hela. We shall see if he is truly missed. If everything in the world will weep for him, he shall go back to the gods. But if even one thing refuses, Balder stays with me. The gods send messengers everywhere. Weep for Balder! Weep him out of Hell! And everything wept. Men, beasts, earth, stone, trees, metal, everything. Except for a giantess they find in a cave. Balder was never my friend, she says. Let Hel keep what she has. The Northmen say that the giantess must have been Loki in disguise.
Do you remember the way he looked?
Puerta abierta. Y esta seguramente no podremos abrirla ahora porque efectivamente hay que volver. Hay que volver.
Do you remember the way he touched you?
Me das envidia y los celos. Qué malas son.
He didn't believe that she was cursed. He saved her, and everyone else turned their backs on him.
Hace poco estaba hecha mierda y ahora puede correr. Ahora se ha recuperado un poquito.
Doesn't know who killed him, but we do. He saved
Vuelta.
you. He saved you. That's you. You go in.
Y ahora conseguimos esta runa.
What if this is pointless? What are you doing?
Quedan otras dos runas.
Why did you think you could make this work? You keep seeing runes. You see runes everywhere. Everywhere. But what if they're not real? What if they don't actually make sense?
The Northmen tell how the gods punished Loki for Balder's death. They captured him and took him to a cave. They fetched his 2 sons and turned one into a wolf, and he ripped his brother apart. The gods used Loki's own son's entrails to tie him down, and turned these bonds to iron, and dangled a poisonous serpent over his face, so that its venom would drip onto him. Each time the venom drips onto Loki's face, he writhes in agony. The Northmen say that is the cause of earthquakes. A reminder, perhaps, that if even gods must accept death, then so must we.
Vale.
Cursed.
Aquí habrá... Sí, aquí había otro. De casualidad lo he encontrado. Me falta la flecha. Volvamos al mundo de la luz. Volvamos abajo, que posiblemente haya por aquí. Efectivamente tiene que estar por aquí. Yo intuía que tenía que estar por aquí. A ver cómo... Estoy buscando una flecha, ¿Dónde se conforma una flecha?
He's the reason she's alive at all. She should have listened to him.
¿Qué?
Why didn't she listen to him? She thought she could defend him.
¿Ahí había una flecha? ¿En serio? Ah, no, que me he puesto al lado de esto, calla. ¿Qué hacía yo?
He didn't believe that she was cursed. He saved you when everyone else turned their backs.
Ey, esto parece una flecha. Ah, efectivamente.
What if they're all about wasting your time just to live minute by minute by minute? He led you astray.
Prosigamos.
You're special. Special. Could all be a waste of her time.
The gods are just playing. What if the gods are laughing?
Messing with her.
It wouldn't be.
Dillian! Be the first time. Be quick.
Dillian never much cared for the underworld, and looked dimly upon the druids, like her father, Zinbel. I guess he took after his father, a chieftain who believed nothing he couldn't see, and he happened to be blind. She felt safe in Dillian's arms, learned to see the world through his eyes. And slowly, the darkness that had bound her so tightly began to unravel.
Very careful. You've come this far, don't let him slip away. It's a narrow bridge, and there's a long way to fall.
¿Qué? ¿Reis de San?
No! Where's he gone? It's your fault. He's disappeared. You've lost him to the sea. He's gone. You've lost him too. He's gone to the water. He's drowned.
What?
Senua, your father cannot understand your darkness. He cannot see through your eyes. No one can. My own father was born blind. Doesn't have the faintest idea of what the night looks like. The word dark to him means as little as the word light. So someone is afraid of the dark. Should we fix them by taking away their sight? Would you give up the beautiful world that you, and only you, can see just to be rid of your nightmares? Or is this the price you pay for the gift you have? A gift that makes you so special in my eyes. Just another part of the person I love.
I left for the wilds to protect you from my darkness. Because I love you. But it made it worse. I'm so sorry.
It's done. You did it, but there's more.
Esta es una de las